Oh my god, what has the world come to? Is Dubai doing something good for once? Will we get to actually complement our favorite oil monarchy slave state? Or is it just brainless greenwashing by an overpaid consultant class poisoning the sheik's brain with shiny CGI? Well, place your bets everyone. When it comes to urban planning, until today, Dubai was somewhere between hilarious and tragic. These people basically had an infinite money glitch with a perfectly blank map to work on, and they chose to build Houston, but worse. This will need to change, however, as the days of Dubai's current wealth are numbered. Those oil reserves, they are not an infinite source of money. In a few decades, the world will simply move past oil to the point where Dubai cannot sell enough to pay the monstrous upkeep of their horrible infrastructure. Long story short, Dubai needs to diversify, and fast, to avoid total bankruptcy. How will they accomplish this? Step 1. By becoming a sort of Arabic Las Vegas for affluent idiots. That's a success, I guess. But that alone is not enough. They also need step 2, which is to add more tax-paying residents. And Dubai's population is indeed growing like crazy. So that's a success too, right? Not so fast. Remember the part about their horrible infrastructure? Turns out building 10-lane highways everywhere, thereby forcing everyone to drive, is really expensive. Highways cost a ton to build and maintain, and you have to maintain them a lot because cars have a tendency of absolutely demolishing their own infrastructure. The heavier the cars, the worse it gets, exponentially so. And Dubai just happens to be a hotspot for big, dumb, heavy luxury cars, the number of which is going up fast with the population. How do you solve this problem? By shifting people to walking, biking, and public transit. And oh boy, does Dubai have plans for that. So, without further ado, let's see what the Rock is cooking. We're going to discuss all of those. But first, I gotta shave. Good thing this video is sponsored by Manscaped, having sent me their Handyman compact face shaver to try. The Handyman is dual blade, lightweight, and uses a battery fit for 60 minutes of operation, rechargeable through a USB-C cable. It's a good choice for both home and travel. It features skin-safe technology to help reduce accidental cuts during shaving. I mean, I've been using it for a while now and I haven't cut myself. The Handyman can handle facial hair growth of up to 3 days. Additionally, it's waterproof, which is really helpful whenever you want to clean it. All in all, it's a solid face shaver, and I can recommend it to all of you. The only thing is, I think there's a bit of a culture clash going on here. This is technically a grooming product, but the word has a very different meaning now thanks to MAGA crazies. So when Manscaped gave me a sample line for inspiration like, whether you're a first-time groomer or a seasoned pro, the Handyman is the perfect addition to your grooming arsenal. I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to rephrase that a bit. So whether you're a first-time shaver or a seasoned pro, the Handyman is the perfect addition to your shaving arsenal. Go to manscaped.com and use the code ADAMSOMETHING at checkout to get 20% off your purchase of the Handyman. I want all of you to appreciate my self-control, by the way. Not everyone is up to speed with far-right newspeak, so I could have absolutely gotten away with a line like, become a master groomer with the Handyman or something. But I didn't want to mess around because the Handyman is nice and I like it. Anyway, thanks for checking out the Handyman, and thanks for Manscaped for sponsoring today's video. So Dubai wants to shift people to walking, biking, and public transit. And oh boy, do they have plans for that. Without further ado, let's see what the Rock is cooking. The Green Highway is a plan to turn 64 kilometers of one of Dubai's urban freeways into a more pedestrian and cyclist-friendly corridor with an added tram line. I'm calling this a plan, but it's impossible to tell where the project is currently. In the Emirates, the planning, permitting, and construction of a project can be divided into the Sheikh likes it, the Sheikh said we can do it, and the Sheikh told us to do it, respectively. So in the dividing lane of the highway, we have a metro, with solar panels under it, a line of trees, bike lanes, and pedestrian paths. And there is a continuous overpass with all sorts of civic amenities inside, like stores, and the whole thing connects both sides of the highway via ramps and elevators. Now, much of this is of course greenwashing. The world's greenest highway is kinda like the world's freest slave. But I have to admit, if this project got built as advertised here, it would be a substantial improvement for Dubai. According to the visualizations, you would only have 4 lanes of highway on each side, so an 8-lane urban freeway in total. This is actually a reduction in lanes, with the original highway being 12 lanes wide. So it's something. Let it be known, Dubai got its first star from me for something they did. Incredible. But this project is of course not free from the average tech pro consultant bullshit. Like, why put the solar panels under the trams? Why not put them over the tram line to provide shade and increase their efficiency? Oh god, I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks to solar freaking roadways. Also, on some of these visualizations, there are people on the pedestrian promenade sitting on benches like 20 centimeters away from a 4-lane highway. Yeah, that's probably not good, or pleasant, or safe, or healthy. What's with the decoration inside these stores? Remember kids, if your interior doesn't look like the inside of a Middle Earth and small intestine, it doesn't count as green. Now, even though this project is fine, the problem with it is that it's a surface treatment for a systemic issue. If you really want wanted to reform things, you would shrink this highway down to 4 lanes in total. But that's not an option as long as your highway passes by places like this. Discovery Gardens. Yeah, discover what shit planning is like. I can only imagine how the workshopping went for this area. The real estate reps go up to the sheik like, so, got any preferences for this new neighborhood we're building? And the sheik was like, I watched a video about go-karting. It was neat. Say no more, fam. Boom, Discovery Gardens. But this place has a public transit connection, 2 metro stops and multiple bus stops. If you want to, you can actually get to the center using public transit. Isn't that nice? It's kinda weird to see all these correct things in a place like Dubai. Their planners must have smoked the right kind of crack for once. Or have they? Because Dubai also wants to promote cycling. And for that, some bike lanes inside the highway's dividing lane just won't be enough. They have to go bigger. That's right, get ready for Exhibit B.
Round and round.
The Loop, not to be confused with Elon Musk's bullshit, is a bike path with a park and pedestrian promenade inside a 93-kilometer-long air-conditioned biodome circling all around Dubai. This is... wow, it's like someone locked not just bikes into a basement for a week with a bucket of drugs and a notepad. The Loop aims to connect more than 3 million residents using a healthy mode of transport to key services and locations by walking and cycling within minutes. It will provide an enjoyable, climate-controlled all-year environment to make walking and cycling the primary mode of transport for Dubai's residents in line with this new 20-minute city initiative. The aim is to make cycling and walking the primary mode of transport for daily commutes for more than 80% of Dubai's residents by 2040. Wow, now that's what I call goddamn ambition. And you know what? I kinda like it. It's refreshing to see Dubai's proverbial retard strength be channeled towards something other than urban freeways. And this is actually part of the Dubai Cycle City 2040 proposal. Whoa, the what now? Dubai Cycle City 2040. More than 1,000 kilometers of cycling infrastructure. Best cycling city by 2040. More cycle-friendly than Amsterdam. Okay, well, this is rather unexpected. Oh, so that's where they got the Amsterdam comparison from. They're counting dedicated cycle paths, of which Amsterdam has around 500 kilometers. Dubai would have double that number, therefore on paper be more bike-friendly. That's not quite how that works though. Dedicated cycle paths in Amsterdam are the crown jewel of a massive, complex and well thought out system. They weren't just plopping a bunch of bike paths on top of 20-lane urban freeways. Still, these plans are ambitious, if nothing else, and that loop would really be gigantic, Jesus Christ. What are these other types of bike paths? 1, 2 and 3. Type 1 is a fully separated cycle path. Type 2 is when the path is elevated above a sidewalk providing shade. And 3 is a giant floating cycling roundabout over a highway. Okay. Now, are these plans a bit goofy? Sure. But are they a bad thing? I would say no. If this plan came to fruition, Dubai would genuinely be a better place to live, more progressive than many major American cities, and even Prague. Oh god, Prague. Every major city in Central Eastern Europe is building out cycling infrastructure like mad. Budapest, Warsaw, Bratislava, Vienna, Berlin, networks of safe, separate bike paths are growing everywhere. Except in Prague, where they repair 200 meters of a sidewalk and call it new cycling infrastructure. The city is headed by the king of boomers, who vetoes literally every measure that would prove as even a slight inconvenience to drivers. Oh, you wanna cycle? Then go to the forest, libtard. Bikes don't belong to the city, we want to be like Moscow. City districts are demolishing parks and playgrounds for 24 more parking spaces, or legalizing parking on the sidewalk. Meanwhile, Prague's transport deputy, supposedly a progressive, is busy peacocking in front of every wet fart measure the city management implements. Whoa, check it out, we installed a fucking storm drain on a street. Let me announce this urban paradigm shift in a 3-paragraph Twitter essay. Whoa, check out this 15-centimeter plaque explaining why Prague still has that fucking Moscow mural at one of their main metro stations, instead of just taking it down. Hey, check out this cargo bike. It'll be so much fun to die on, like that person a few weeks ago trying to use the unsafe shit cycle paths we pollute the city with. We're not gonna change anything. Okay, this concludes my rant about Prague, you get the idea. So in contrast to Eastern European boomer town, Dubai will actually become more progressive. Words I never thought I would utter. Dubai is also building out its public transit. In 6 years, its metro network will grow from 64 to 96 stations, linking more neighborhoods with high-quality transit. So I am shocked to say this, but I actually have to compliment Dubai for once. Sure, the urban planning of the city is quite tragic, mainly because they just let real estate speculators build a bunch of shit unchecked from cheap materials, exploiting Southeast Asian workers. And then they built the rest of the city around the needs of your stereotypical typical top 10% frat bro dumbfuck who has more millions than IQ points with a girlfriend more plastic than flesh. However, that all seems to be changing, at least to an extent. So should the projects mentioned here become a reality, Dubai will go from a fucking Christ save me out of 10 to a good, solid, Jesus could you please assist me a bit out of 10. And honestly, good for them. Still better than Prague, a city that's actually progressing backwards in terms of cycling and walkability. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet done so, and if you'd like to support me in what I'm doing, consider becoming a patron or a member here on YouTube. And I'll be seeing you next time.